Elisabeth has been motivated to speak about concussions, partly because both of her sons have had concussions. My daughter too. She had to watch a friend of theirs returning to competitive sports too early and suffering multiple concussions, which were treated with medications. He is still suffering migraine headaches and anxiety attacks and had to drop out of college. In her private practice, she gets more and more referrals of patients with concussions of all ages needing to learn how to actively relax. The youngest is 16 and the oldest is 70. The unique challenges with each individual experience are astounding. Education for caregivers seems critical so they can stay open to the irrational and non-linear progress of the recovery. Quite often, she has realized, that concussions bring traumas from the past to the forefront, which are asked to be addressed. The title of her speech is Understanding Concussions. It's number 7, research your topic from the competent communicator. Her objectives are collect information about the topic from numerous sources, carefully support the points and opinions with specific facts, examples, and illustrations, gather through research, and the time is 5 to 7 minutes. For Elisabeth, please. Warming up.
Do we need the lights lower, or can everybody see?
It's good.
It'll get brighter. Has any of you ever had a concussion? Or taken care of somebody who had a concussion? Well, last spring, I had the honor to take care of my son. We were called by the Alta Clinic to pick him up. He crashed, he dislocated his shoulder. We drove over. The shoulder was back in his body. But he kept asking, what happened? Did I dislocate my shoulder? I answered it. The doctor answered it, and just in a few seconds, what happened? So he kept asking the same question again. The doctor said, he probably has a concussion. It was very clear to me when I was driving down the canyon, answering this question over and over again, getting a knot in my stomach. The doctor said, take him home and just watch him. And then he said, or take him to the hospital and have him checked out. But CAT scan showed there's so much radiation and they're overdone nowadays. So what do you do as a parent? While I was driving down, my husband and I decided, okay, let's have him checked out. You know, we were afraid. While I was driving down, I imagined the ER, I imagined the lights, the noise, all that. And I'm like, something in me said, take him home. So I took him home, took the responsibility, took the risk. I was going to take care of this boy the way I thought he needed to have been taken care of. The stomach settled. Got home, put him in pajamas, gave him a meal, and I settled him in bed, which was sort of tricky with that shoulder, and started rubbing his feet with some lavender and guided him into some breathing. The question stopped, and soon he drifted off into a deep, silent sleep. I slept with him that night to make sure that he wouldn't vomit or get up and re-injure himself or get disoriented. He slept for 14 hours through the night. So in the morning, I got up and I thought, I I really need to know more about these concussions. What are concussions? It is a mild traumatic brain injury which disturbs the brain function. Everybody see it now? And it's caused by a bump to the head, or also the whiplash when it goes back and forward and the brain goes like this in your skull. This, my son's injury definitely qualified because landing a backflip short sort of does both. It gives you a whiplash and the impact on the ground. So I was pretty clear on that. Also, concussions have certain symptoms. Can you see very well? Yep. And they are grouped usually in 4 categories: thinking, remembering, physical, emotional, and mood, and sleep disturbances. My son, when I saw him, had definitely difficult remembering new information. He asked over and over again. He felt tired, had no energy, and slept more than usual. The symptoms can either be just one symptom first and then change to more symptoms, or there is a couple of symptoms and they just shift, they go back and forward. So there's not really a clear way. CDC says for concussion, and that's the mild brain injury, the recovery occurs usually within 3 weeks, successfully, if managed well. And that's something, if you ask anybody, what's managed well? I have that in the next slide. People also think if you don't pass out, it's not a big problem. You don't have a severe concussion or a mild concussion. The truth is that only 10% of the concussion patients pass out. So 90% never ever lose consciousness. The other thing is also when people go and have CT scans and MRIs, which are very valid, and they come out clear, so there's no anatomical damage, they think, oh, not a big deal, and they go on with their life. But what really has still happened, an impairment of their brain function. That's why they're so confused, have suddenly anxieties, can't concentrate. Here we are with the managed well. Rest and take it easy. Okay, that probably means something different to each of you. Find a support, a specialized facility. Meanwhile, there are specialized facilities who really, through interviews and symptoms analyzing, they can figure out how severe your concussion is and what you need to do to heal it. Here in town, we have locally Think Head First. So that morning, I called and asked whether I was doing the right thing. I got confirmed we won't do anything till a week anyway. Educate yourself of the symptoms and track your recovery process. Most doctors say rest, take it easy for a week. I have found out that most patients don't know how. In regards to my son, I just followed my instincts and breathed with him, moved him, so he was comfortable. His main symptom was emotional distress. He was going to be up for a competition to be a junior champion in the big mountain. So you can imagine that, up and down roller coaster. Well, he did make it. He fully recovered, and he even won the North American Junior Championship. That's the Toastmasters.